You know what time it is! You know what time it is! E-S-E-L-E-S-E-L! And you know what underdogs is? It's a hungry dog!
And the second stick away, and the Eagles are alive! Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you! Let the celebration begin!
All right, everyone, and welcome to episode 79. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah to all of those who celebrate. It is Thursday, December 28th, and we're heading into the new year. Hope everyone had a great holiday. Thursdays are my favorite day of the week because we have awesome guests that are joining us. Guys, if you're not giving us a follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, snail mail, SoundCloud, whatever else, what are you doing? Make sure you drop us a follow. But everyone, I'm so excited to announce our guest today. She's taken your social media feed by storm with her reaction videos to the games. She has an affiliation with 610 Birds. We're going to get into it and learn a little bit about her story. I want everyone to give Rossi Takes a round of applause. Rossi, thank you so much for joining us and happy holidays. How has your holiday season been so far?
Pretty good. I love the holidays, but December, the Eagles hadn't had a win since literally the other day. So it was a bit of a struggle for a couple weeks, but we're good now.
Any good gifts? Any good Eagles gifts received or sent to loved ones? I'm curious. Any new jerseys in the wardrobe now?
So I actually told my family this year not to give me anything related to the Eagles because I just simply have too much Eagles stuff. And I think it's just an easy way out. Like, I'm tired of getting it. Like, people, when they don't know me or they don't know what to get me, they're just like, oh, I'll get her a jersey. It's like, give me something more creative. I did give my family Christmas tickets. All 6 of us, we went to the game. So that was really fun to get to do together.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I think heading into Christmas, though, we couldn't have asked for a better lineup this weekend. The Chiefs are on a complete downfall. The Dallas Cowboys lost. The Philadelphia Eagles win. It can't be all doom and gloom for us.
49ers took a big L.
But that 49ers loss just hurts even more because knowing we would have had the 1 seed if we didn't lose to the Seahawks. So there's always, yeah.
And you were at that Seahawks game, if I recall correctly from your Instagram.
Yes, I traveled all the way to Seattle. I had a great time. Everybody so nice there. I've never been there, but it was a great game. Up until the last drive, I felt like I could throw up. So long ride home.
Yeah, Ali and I flew down, and Ali's not on the episode tonight, but we flew down to Dallas, first time there, just to watch our team get our ass kicked, our teeth kicked in. And I said on the podcast, walking to the car was actually the worst part of the day. The loss was whatever, but walking to the car, how were the Seattle faithful? Was there extra heckling going on, or was it relatively calm?
Honestly,
the 12th man.
Honestly, that stadium is very hard to play, and it's extremely loud, but nobody was mean to me. Like, nobody heckled me. I mean, I think it's because they're a lot more humble. I think the fans know they're not that great this year. Whereas Cowboys fans, they're hyping it up. They're like, we're going to go to the Super Bowl. You guys are trash,
Yeah.
They're feeling themselves.
Yeah.
So, Rossi, I really want to talk about your journey as a content creator. And earlier today, I actually looked through your entire Instagram page all the way back to your first post. And it's funny to see how much you've evolved because unless you bought the page, it started out as a sports highlight page. It was really just some clips, some funny things, some funny moments, a lot of reposting, a lot of historical moments. And then you see some of the on the street stuff that you see with 610 Birds now. And now you're the face of it. And now I feel like you're popping up everywhere. You showed up in our feed. Again, really, really thankful to be able to have you on here. But one thing is apparent, you are a huge football fan. You know your stuff. You know everything about the sport. Talk to me about how did the bug bite you? What age did it start? What's the family relation?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Thanks. So obviously, growing up, I have 3 brothers. So just when I wanted to hang out with them, it wasn't they were going to come do what I wanted to do. I had to go play football outside with them. And being, from Philadelphia, obviously being raised on the Eagles, and that kind of transition to, I began, with a love for editing videos. So why not incorporate editing videos with something I really liked, like the Eagles? So in middle school, I asked my parents for like a MacBook, and it's very uncommon for a middle school girl to be editing football videos, but that's exactly what I was doing. And, I actually, when I first started editing videos, I was really just kind of embarrassed about it. Like, I didn't want to show anybody my face when I made that, account, Instagram and YouTube and whatnot. I stayed behind the scenes. I was like, I don't want anybody to know that I'm a girl doing this. And then a little over a year ago, I made Rossi Takes, where I kind of incorporated, my editing skills, but also, being a woman in football and my personality on air. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. I think it's one of the best decisions I've ever made.
So you mentioned how you were editing these football videos in middle school, which is awesome because I was very involved with AV and editing videos for high school and doing like little sports highlights. I gained like a huge interest in that. Were you just kind of interested in the NFL or football as a whole, or were you just like from that point, were you all in on the Eagles? Were you, all this? You mentioned you were from Lancaster, and that's still, or Lancaster. We got to make sure.
Come on, we literally fixed that in the green
Lancaster.
room, and you're already messing it up. Lancaster.
I sometimes I do that with water, where like I find like this happy medium between water and water, so it kind of sounds like I'm saying this like both. So I'm trying to do that with Lancaster, but we're gonna keep it at Lancaster. I know that is still technically Eagles territory. Just like. Tell me about, I guess, your fandom in terms of just the Eagles or football in general, and how that, how you were inspired by that.
I definitely started as an Eagles fan. I grew up, with the Mike Vick, Deshaun Jackson, Chip Kelly era, a little bit of Andy Reid, Kevin Kolb, that type of beat. But, as I've gotten older, I would call myself more of an NFL fan now. I know a lot more about other teams than I once did. And just, loving football, I think when you truly love football, you're not just going to like your team. You're going to want to be invested in all aspects of it.
Yeah, Rossi, I mean, I think you're being very humble right now. You really know your stuff. I mean, if you look at your content, it's not just like a surface level, oh, I don't know, this person got hurt. I mean, you call out colleges, you call out hometowns. I mean, you really know your stuff. And I've also seen the things from 610 Bird. So how did you kind of get plugged into that? Congratulations. I think 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Like, amazing.
Thanks. Appreciate it. So the person who, fully owns 610, his name's Darren, and Darren and I got connected a little bit, maybe like over a year ago on, just through social media. And he at the time needed some extra help, and because obviously, creating content, it's a lot of editing and whatnot. So I just, offered to help out, and now, it's kind of something that we love doing together. He does a lot more of the editing, but I'm more of, kind of like the eye candy, per se. I think I market better, but he's also just, he's superhuman, the way he edits and the way he can think different concepts to come up with for us to do. So it's a 1-2 punch. Like, I think we do a really great job together.
Yeah, the short form content that comes from that super clever. I'll even watch it. Like, I saw one today. What NFL logos have the color orange in their logos, right?
Yeah.
And the first two are really easy: the Broncos, the Bengals, and the Browns, right?
Yep.
Which makes no sense if the Browns are orange. And then I'm sitting here going through the divisions, walking through with all of them. So that's really cool. And is that really your first exposure to like now getting behind a camera? Darren said, "Hey, you're the eye candy now. You went from secluded, didn't really want to show everyone your football knowledge. You grew a little bit older. Hey, this is an outlet for me." Is that kind of how it got started?
Yeah, and I think just growing up too, wanting to be someone like Aaron Andrews, who was in front of a camera, with a mic, that was really good exposure for me. I don't want to be Aaron Andrews, but I think that exposure really opened me up to the idea of like being in front of a camera, because I was so scared of it. And now, yeah, I really love it. I think making trivia content, or even just like getting people's opinions, drunk Eagles fans at a game is always great. It's awesome. It really brings me out of my shell.
There definitely seems to be this kind of like formula or style of videos that Eagles content creators tend to do. So you always get a little bit of the man on the street. You always like picking people's brains. I love trivia, so anytime you can include any sort of, Eagles past or anything nostalgic trivia wise, I'm all about it. But one of my favorite things about your page and one of the, the videos that you do is after every game, there's just this shot of you. And then there's somebody filming you and they're slowly walking backwards, and you have the record on top and kind of your reaction. Sometimes you do a little gritty. Was that just something, I guess, that started this season? And is that, is that something that, like, do you feel like that is kind of, I don't know, is that like the main, what am I trying to say? Like, is that a growing thing that people are expecting week over week and they're just waiting to see that?
I definitely think so. There's been a few games this year that I haven't been able to go to, and my comments when I don't go to a game, they're like, "Where's your gritty?" or "Where's the video?" I get comments saying that people are looking forward to the video after the game. So it's something that I definitely consider when, I'm deciding, "Hey, should I go to this game or not?" And it's tricky because say for example, I can't go to a game, or I can't make it there. Even if I wanted to just go for the beginning, I can't because I have to wait to the end of the game. So I got to be in it. I got to stay in it the whole way, even if it's a blowout like that 49ers game. I just wanted to go home, but I had to stay to film that video and look miserable at the end of it. So
But I love that though, because it's like the organic reactions to things that I think is like the most enticing thing. Like one of my other favorite videos of yours was the Kansas City game reaction, and just the roller coaster of a game that was, and basically just filming these authentic reactions that you were having throughout the game. You and your girlfriend both celebrating at the end, but I could just feel the stress, and that's something that is just part of being an Eagles fan. So in that regard, like, yeah, like, how do you feel about like recording authentic, you know, content as opposed to just like doing things that are just essentially just for show?
I I think when it comes to my page, a lot of people could look at it and say, "Oh, that girl's not really an Eagles fan. She's just doing it for views. She's a woman. She doesn't know what she's talking about." Bandwagon. But when you take time to really look at my content and look into my backstory, like I get physically sick when the Eagles lose. Like I don't talk to my girlfriend. I put my phone on do not disturb when they lose. Like I physically feel ill. I get in a bad mood. Like they are one of the first things that like formed my identity as a child and all through my life. So it is a huge deal to me. That being said, I think adding on to that and creating content surrounding my raw emotions is what does the best, even though they can be really outlandish and just crazy. But that's Philly.
Yeah, and I think some of the viewers also want to know, or some of the people that may be tuning in, is you've also made a few bets with some of the people in your comments saying if the Eagles lose, I will do what the top comment says. So I just want to read, because I have it up here.
Oh no.
When they lost to Seattle, and I think this actually went somewhat viral. I think people were reposting this. I think like a news outlet picked it up. The top comment says, "Go to Thailand, find that kid. Start training Muay Thai with him, train with him, and fight as a duo in local tournaments, and eventually fall in love with each other and make it to the UFC, where you both stay undefeated for 5 years, and then support him in his final match where he's losing. But it's your support that motivates him to win. Then marry each other and give birth to a child, and then send him to Thailand."
What?
Rossi, that is a big ask. When is your trip to Thailand?
So I've gotten this question a lot, and unfortunately, the trip to Thailand, I don't see it happening this year, maybe next year, but I'm pretty booked this year. But no, I mean, I've also posted some other videos where I say if the Eagles lose, I'll give you tickets, I'll give you a jersey, and I've came through with those promises. When the Seahawks beat the Eagles, the top comment, he was a Cowboys fan and he wanted to be sent to the Cowboys and Lions game, so I hooked him up. Yeah, it hurt to give him a Cowboys fan tickets, but I mean, he was a little kid, so I was like, you know what, we're cheering for the Cowboys this week, so might as well. But yeah, really, really got to stay true to my word.
Yeah, wow,
yeah.
that's pretty impressive.
I'm excited. Like, we're not quite ready to get into this week's games yet, but just knowing how much of an overall NFL fan you are, I'm excited to talk through some of the scenarios and just kind of see where you are with everything. I guess before we get into that, next question, and this is kind of a basic one, but I know we talked a little bit about your history, how your fandom began, but we all have a favorite player. We all have someone who just really made us bleed green from the start. I think for people our age, it's usually Brian Dawkins. I don't know if you got to catch much Brian Dawkins when you were younger. But yeah, do you have that player that really just cemented your fandom as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, or is that player playing right now?
So Mr. LaShawn McCoy was the man that got it done for
Yes.
me. I I remember when Chip Kelly traded him, I actually was so sad that I didn't go to school for 2 days. Um, so I love LaShawn McCoy. I think he did amazing things for the Eagles, and really unfortunate to see him have to leave, but he did great with the Bills and the Chiefs, and I I wish him well. I wish he never left, but like he couldn't have controlled that. But he was definitely someone growing up that just made me want to watch 10 times more. He's my favorite Eagle.
I guess a quick follow up. I mean, do you get any at least LaShawn McCoy vibes watching DeAndre Swift play? Because I know we've alluded to that a little bit. Like he's got the shiftiness, and he reminds us a little bit of Shady. So do you feel like at least you're getting a little bit of that?
A little bit, it's tricky because I every time LaShawn McCoy, touched the football, I felt like he could, run the ball for 30, 40 yards. When DeAndre Swift gets the ball, I'm like, okay, you're going to go to the 2-yard line, and then that's going to be it, and you're not going to
Yeah.
score. So
Yeah, if a football field was 98 yards, he'd be the best running back in the league by far.
Yeah, I mean,
That's why Hurts leads the league in touchdowns.
Yeah, as soon as he gets the ball, he's already getting his feet turning though. So he's great. He's definitely having a career revival in Philly. I hope we re-sign him too.
I hope so too.
Yeah. And then one other thing, your girlfriend Savannah is a pretty big deal on social media. She has a pretty massive following. You are slowly converting her into an Eagles fan. What's that story? How did you guys meet, and kind of where did the football kind of go into there? Was it like, oh gosh, she's into football, one of those types of people, or how did that whole thing play out?
So, when we first met, obviously she knew nothing about football, but I think when you're in a relationship with somebody, you care about the things they care about.
Mm-hmm.
So for her, she really likes dance. So now I'm, finding myself watching Dancing with the Stars. But on the other hand, I'm watching the Eagles and football. So she's had to, look up YouTube videos on how to, learn certain things. What is shotgun formation? What is a cornerback? Like she has no idea what any of that stuff is. When we go to the game, she's like, "Where's the yellow line? Like, why isn't it on the field?" But she's done a lot better. Like she will, send me some texts like, "How do you think Matt Patricia's doing?" And I'm like, where did that come from? So, yeah,
Nice.
technically she was a Steelers fan because her family is, being from Pittsburgh, but now she's an Eagles fan, so no regrets. Go Birds.
Does she have a favorite player?
I mean, she loves A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. I would probably say A.J. Brown, though. She's got a Kelly Green A.J. Brown jersey.
Yeah.
Has there been a moment where you got to see her like organically react to something in a game and it just made you so proud? I mean, it's cool that she's using names like Matt Patricia. I think that's like, that can catch you off guard. It's like, oh, okay, all right, she's getting into it. But was there a moment of a game that you guys were watching where like, I know you're in your own little zone. I know that you probably don't even have the wherewithal to concentrate on how she's feeling because you're going through all your feels. But just like, yeah, was there a moment where you just like caught a glimpse of her and you're just like, fuck yeah, you get it. Now you get it.
Honestly, that's a great question because last year, when the Eagles didn't do last year, she didn't really care that much. She didn't have that much emotion. But this year, when the Eagles do bad and we're at games, I can physically see how sick she looks. Like, she looks so unwell. And I'm like, oh, so now you care because you got emotion in it. You care now. She's like, yeah, I care. You got me to care about it. And they're letting me down. And, like, that is just, I see so much of myself in her because I'm like, that's what I felt like for 21 years. Like, think about it.
It's really a sick thing we put ourselves through, is that there's nothing we can do. We talk about it. We obsess with it. We clam up all the way back in middle school and hide and do, editing clips on our laptop behind it just to subject ourselves to this team. And it just makes us sick to our stomach. And yet we keep on coming back for
It's
more.
more than a game. It's more than just a silly football game.
It is.
And
it is.
The day that people understand that will be the day that they stop giving people crap for liking sports. It's more than that. It's not just about.
And honestly, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the memes where it's like, if you're a fan, don't call yourself we. And it's like, it is we. Like, I have done this for how many years? My taxes pay for that stadium. Like, it is we. Like, that is we. I don't care if I'm not running around on the field. Like, that is my team too.
We built this.
Yeah.
So Rossi, as we wrap up this interview and go back to talking about some birds, are you going to be at the game on Sunday against the Cardinals to close out the regular season at home?
I will be there. Yes, of course.
Cool. Very cool. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us on all of this. We're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming game, but congratulations on just your following. It's getting bigger. There's some big people following you. I think, one person I compare you to is Annie Agar. She's one of my all-time favorite creators. I had the opportunity to meet her outside the Super Bowl. Super nice woman. What are your thoughts on Abby? I know I know that she follows you.
She's great. I've talked to her, just through social media a few times, but when I first started posting on social media, I came across her account, and I know I think she's a correspondent. I don't know exactly what her job is, but I think I love her content. Those memes with the weekly meeting things, that is hilarious. Like, she needs to just keep it up because she does a great job.
I know she could make a whole entire like show that NFL Network could show, and like that would get tons of views. All right, let's get back to talking about football, talking about the birds. I'm so interested into hearing your analysis. Nick Sirianni came out and said that although he respects Jonathan Gannon, he wants this place to be a living hell for him. He wants him to be so uncomfortable that it's unbearable. And I think he should. I think there's something about this tampering that we should all feel sick to our stomach. A report came out. We should have got Vic Fangio. I mean, there's so many different things that came out. And I really feel like Jonathan Gannon is a big part to blame with why we've seen some lackluster performance from our defense today. Rossi, it's going to be our last game at home. Playoffs are on the line. Number 2 seed is at stake. A lot of things have to happen. What's your analysis for this week? And hit us with the score prediction.
So, first and foremost, Jonathan Gannon makes me sick to my stomach when you think that this man had a 10-point lead at halftime in the Super Bowl and didn't adjust. He didn't do much. Teams with 10-point lead at halftime are 28-2 in the Super Bowl. And Jonathan Gannon ruined that for the Eagles, so I will never forgive him. And 2, it even is worse because he just left us, so, that tampering situation. Whatnot, I guess Nick is okay, is a great friend of his, even though, Jonathan Gannon did that to us. Whatever. I don't care for that. But in terms of like the Cardinals, I think they're really overlooked this year. I think the Cardinals they have a bit of talent. I mean, Kyler Murray's not terrible. James Conner is not bad either. And I think
it's not a tear.
Yeah. And my defense, no matter who we play, doesn't make me feel good. So I think this will probably be closer than a lot of people expect. And I also think this Eagles team doesn't do well under pressure when they have their, when they need to win something. We've seen it before. So I don't feel good about this, honestly. It kind of feels like a trap game. I think Eagles will squeak at a win, probably like 28-23.
28-23. Yeah, looking at DraftKings right now, currently the Eagles are an 11-point favorite, which is...
I hate that.
You hate it. You hate it. See, I mean,
11 points? Jeez, man.
What were we against the Giants last week? I think it was around 13 and a half. And typically when you see a line like this, when it's almost, this is over, 2 possessions. 11's 2 possessions. If it's 2 or more possessions, I feel like sometimes that's telling you that the game has the chance to be an absolute blowout. The way that the game started last week, the first half, it looked like the Eagles were well on their way. And then unfortunately, opening kickoff of the second half, you get a little bumper car situation and the Giants take over, deep in our territory. So that kind of was the start of some frustration, and they were able to make the game a lot closer than what it actually appeared to be. I want to try really hard not to overthink this game. I know with the Eagles every week, it just feels like you don't know what team you're going to see. And I think last week, seeing DeAndre Swift carry the ball 20 times was huge. And I think that that's something that they just need to continue. I mean, the Cardinals are 32nd in the league against the run. You don't need to be a scientist or some heavy duty, football knowledge coach, whatever, to know that running the ball is going to have a lot of success. So as much as I want to see Jalen, make strides in the pass game, I think overall he played pretty well last week. The interception that he threw to Goddard was, it was questionable because Goddard was basically on the ground by the time the ball came out of Hurts's hands. So, the Cardinals are not a good team. I think Jonathan Gannon I don't think he's a good coach. I'm scared of Kyler Murray. I think if this game was in Arizona, I would feel a little bit more worried, but I really think the link's going to be bumping. I think that this team's going to get right at the right time as the playoffs are approaching. So give me the Eagles. We're going to score at least 30 this week. I'm going to go 34 to 19. A little bit of a high scoring game this week, but I like the Eagles to finally cover one of these big spreads.
So I'm going to be a little bit all over the place with this one. And the thing that I'm so sick and tired of hearing with this Philadelphia Eagles team is, look at last year. Last year we were this. Last year we were this juggernaut. Last year, the Philadelphia Eagles won this game because some bozo missed a field goal in Arizona. The same team that was arguably worse last year. So don't give me that, the Eagles team last year was so dominant. Yeah, we almost lost to this team, and Kyler Murray gave us a run for our money at the end of the game last year. So first of all, don't give me that. But I do think there is one really big defining moment. And Andrew, I want to take you back 3 years ago when we started this podcast.
We were just young boys.
We were just babies, and Jalen Hurts gets announced as the starter. He's coming in, and the crowd starts chanting, "Run the ball, run the ball." And by the end of that season, we were looking at the NFL power rankings, and the Philadelphia Eagles had the number 1 rushing offense in the league, and we were flabbergasted. Last year, the Philadelphia Eagles got away from the run in the beginning of the season. The crowd comes in and starts cheering, "Run the ball." And we ran the ball, and we were one of the top rushing offenses again. The Philadelphia Eagles, I don't have the stats in front of me. I don't have PFF up here. I don't know where we rank in rushing offense, but I do know that we are an upper 5 team. And I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back last week when Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni were commenting on it. This is going to be a run-heavy game. The best part about what I'm seeing in here and with all of this is the last 2 seasons that we've done this, the Eagles went hot. They went on a run, and Lord knows do we need it coming down here at the stretch, entering into the playoffs, fighting for a number 2 playoff spot. I know the whole entire fan base, doom and gloom, the worst 11-4 team, we're frauds, we're the Steelers from last year. I get it. I hear it all. But what I'm saying is this team goes on a streak, and teams like the 49ers are cooling down a little bit. There's a lot to say about the Eagles here. Now, when we talk about the defense, Jonathan Gannon, when we talk about the Cardinals defense, Jonathan Gannon was standing next to Nick Sirianni. He knows the ins and outs of his tendencies. I don't even think you or I really even know who's calling the plays. So I do think that there is going to be a lot of complimentary football where Gannon's going to call out some of the easy routes, some of the tendencies, some of the routes combinations, some of the play calls that you see. And I do think that this game will probably be a little bit lower scoring because Jonathan Gannon knows Nick Sirianni so well. And it's not going to reciprocate the other way because Nick Sirianni isn't, or Brian Johnson or whoever isn't sitting there in the Cardinals practices on some of the years that they did really well. So all of that to be said, I do think the Eagles will win in a lower scoring game. The fans won't be happy about it. They're going to bitch and moan and whine and complain after like we do at the end of every single game. But I'm going to say Philadelphia 20, Arizona 13. I think we ended with the W. And let's also hope that the Lions, do we want the Lions to lose? I guess we do want the Lions to lose. Damn, that kind of sucks, doesn't it? Let's hope the Lions lose too, and then it'll be a great holiday week.
We had this debate earlier in the year where the Cowboys and the 49ers were going against each other, and we were trying to figure out who to root for. I mean, ultimately, you're not rooting for either. I guess we're rooting for a tie. I think a tie might be the best of both worlds. I'm not sure. But statistically, or the way that the rankings work right now, if the Cowboys win, the Eagles will have, and the Eagles win out, the Eagles will have the number 2 seed locked up, which would guarantee them home field at least until the NFC Championship. So I think we kind of have to I don't know, Rossi, like, how does this work in your family? Is there like a hard no when it comes to any sort of rooting for the Cowboys, or in a situation like this, are you willing to make an exception?
I mean, I don't call it rooting for the Cowboys. We're hoping they win, but I'm not going to be sitting at my TV going, "Oh my God, like please
Go
score, please
Dak.
score." I'm kind of chilling either way. It would be nice. I think the Cowboys lose. The Cowboys win. We, would have pretty much the 2 seed. But there's also a chance that if the Cowboys win, we could still get the 1 seed with the 49ers playing the Rams at the end of the year. So
Yep.
either way, I
point.
think we would want
Everyone's
the
counting out
Cowboys.
Washington.
Yeah, either way, we want the Cowboys to win because if the 49ers somehow lose, the Lions would take that 1 seed. And, I mean, the Lions, everybody just don't get me started on the Lions. Like, they don't deserve it. They don't deserve the 1 seed. Losing to the Bears
See,
twice almost. Like, I don't.
If the Lions get the 1 seed, I can almost guarantee that, well, they would have the bye first round, but I guarantee they'd probably lose that first playoff game because the expectations would be so high, and I don't think they could handle it. They just won the NFC North for literally the first time in their history. They'd be like, I don't know what to do with all this success. What do we do?
They're like when a rich kid gets a bunch of money, they just blow it away. Like, that's exactly the Detroit Lions.
Exactly. They hit it huge with GameStop, and now they're broke. How did that happen?
All right, Rossi, any final thoughts on the Cardinals game before we send it over to Swingin' It?
Not really. Just really hoping we get a win. I just want us to blow a team out. Like, how hard? Like, am I asking for too much? Like, I feel like the offense. I mean, the offense scored on 7 out of 10 possessions last week, but yet we still look bad doing it. We still looked bad. So I just want us to have a game where A.J. Brown can't refuse to talk to the media and Devontae Smith doesn't have to ramble or something. Like, I just want everybody to be happy. Just be happy.
That's actually, like, before we wrap up our thoughts, I actually want to just like know what your opinion is in terms of like, what is the biggest issue with this Eagles team? Like, is it coaching? Is it personnel? Is it overall attitude? I mean, these are all things that, you hear, but I'm just curious to know what are you getting out of this Eagles team and what's preventing them from being more successful?
Yeah, I love this question. I think bottom line, it's the turnovers. When you look at the team from last year, we were forcing turnovers at a higher rate and we were not committing turnovers. And honestly, we want to talk about Brian Johnson and, our defensive coordinators. But Brian Johnson, I think for a first-year coordinator, is not doing a terrible job. I know that's a really hot take, but when you look at all of our offensive statistics and where we line up, he's not having a bad first year in a year that also defenses historically, like, this is a record-setting year for how good defenses are doing across the league. So I think not enough people give Brian Johnson credit. I think our defense is just not there. Like, I from play calling to the schemes. I mean, we don't even know how to blitz correctly. Like, our linebackers are all over the place. Ben Van Sumeren's out there just like running. Like, I think it's the defense and turnovers, truly.
Yeah, and then, to your point about this offense not being as bad as everybody thinks, or Brian Johnson not doing as bad of a job, the Eagles are 7th in points scored. They're 8th in total yards per game. They're 6th in rush yards per game. They're middle of the pack pass yards per game. They're 2nd in time of possession. That's the one that stands out to me. We're 2nd in time of possession, yet here we are barely scraping by with these one possession wins. So the turnovers, that makes complete sense, because when you're winning the possession battle the way that the Eagles are, what's going to kill you? Turning the ball over and not forcing turnovers.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't agree with all of that. I mean, I agree with what Rossi said. I don't agree with like this whole scraping by sort of like luck. We've already talked about luck all season. We've talked about, I don't know. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to start any.
I'm just saying the stats.
Here, but like, we're
you look at the stats.
4. Everyone needs to like relax. Everyone just needs to chill out for a second.
But the Vikings were in the we are the Vikings of last. Yeah, I know.
Vikings of last year. We're not Kirk Cousins. You like that? All right. Get into Swinging It. Andrew, explain how this game works.
Swinging It. Underdog picks for the week.
All right, time to swing for those fences. I can't stop winning, so I'm just gonna keep feeling myself right now.
Trash.
Oh, let's give a quick rundown of how things went last week. So Ali took the Cowboys against the Miami Dolphins. That was a loss. So Ali is still in first place with 34 points on the year. Now we move to the audience in second place, who Rossi will be representing today. The audience picked New England to beat the Denver Broncos.
Give him his respect.
Jordan MF Inspector took the Patriots, and they won. They beat those Denver Broncos, got the audience 7 points. So now the audience goes from 25.5 to 32.5. 1.5 points behind Ali. What a comeback.
That's impressive.
Then Alex and I are tied. We're both sitting at the bottom at 17.5. Alex, you took those Arizona Cardinals to beat those crappy Chicago Bears, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen. The Bears actually decided to show up. And hell, if the Bears can beat the Cardinals, then the Eagles better be able to beat the Cardinals. And then finally, I took those Baltimore Ravens on Christmas night, and it was a beautiful Christmas miracle.
Yes, it was.
I get the 5.5 points for the Ravens winning, which puts me at 23. So, for the first time all season, Alex, you are in dead last, but we all still love you.
First time I'm in dead last. First time you're not in dead last. It's
first
really
time I'm not in dead last. So,
all right, yeah.
With that being said, Rossi, you're going to kick us off. You're just behind Ali, who's in first. Who are you going with? Big week here.
I'm tempted to go Bengals with Chiefs, but I can't not go against the Chiefs. I think they're just gonna bounce back this week at home. I don't think Browning is really all that good. I do love a good divisional matchup though. I think Packers and Vikings. Vikings are technically the underdog, right? It's hard to tell. Both of them are not that great.
Yeah, what's that line?
The Vikings are actually 1.5 point favorites, so the Packers are underdogs.
Okay, well, I don't think I would have went Vikings. I'm surprised the Vikings are favored there without Hawkinson and with a rookie quarterback. It's really surprising.
Yeah, who are they even going to start this week? I don't even know if they've made a decision.
I don't even know his name. He's like a no name. So I don't know how the Vikings are favorites. Are you taking the Packers on that, or are you still looking?
Honestly, I'll probably go the Commanders and 49ers. Just being a little bit biased. I think Sam Howell, like, maybe he's going to imagine he's playing the Eagles or something because he always gives us a run for his money, so maybe he'll decide to come out and play today. I
think they're going to be starting Jacoby Brissett, but I think that's actually a better thing. I think that actually works out well for them, which is sad.
Why are they doing that? Like, why?
All the teams are doing weird stuff with quarterbacks. Russell Wilson it just got benched for the final 2 games of the season. It's just weird.
Jarrett Stidham. That's insane.
Yep.
And then what's going on? Is there something tonight? No, that's just Browns and Jets, which is a go figure. The first quarter's not even over yet, and it's 14-7. So we got a high scoring. Makes no sense.
I think the Steelers. Honestly, I might change that. I think I would go Steelers, upsetting the Seahawks, because I think the Steelers defense can keep up with that Seahawks offense. I know at times the Seahawks haven't been good this year, but they really gave the Eagles a run for their money. So I'll go Steelers in Seattle.
I like that pick. And if you win, then you have a clear lead over Ali. If Ali loses, of course.
Yeah, we're still have to pick his. Okay, so I guess I'm
Alex?
dead last, so I have to pick. Shut up. You're so freaking happy for the first time all season. It's been
Let me have this.
15 weeks. It's been 15 weeks, dude.
Exactly.
All right. This team just can't beat teams over 500. They're trash. We need them to win. They won't. Even when we need this team to win, we don't want them to win. Give me the Detroit Lions, who are 4.5 point underdog against the Dallas Cowboys, who haven't lost a home game in I don't even know how many seasons or weeks or whatever. But the Cowboys are unraveling. They're trash. Dak is out of any MVP race. CeeDee Lamb is a decent wide receiver too in any other city. Just give me Jared Goff and his Jordans to beat Dak and his Jordans.
I wish I could remember. CeeDee Lamb got interviewed after the last game, and he was asked about, why they just can't win on the road and why they're able to win at home. I forget what his answer was, but it was such a perfect, honest response, and just very self-aware that we for whatever reason we just cannot win unless we're at home.
It's because Dak is ass, like Rossi's boy Shady would say.
That's right.
And
so
I think the Cowboys also do better just on actual turf. Like, for some reason, they just do better. I don't know why, but
I'm hoping to see I just want to see like Jamison Williams just have this breakout game, just freaking just
oh
like
my
torch
gosh.
the Cowboys for like just a 70-yard touchdown. And Alex, I see 5.5. I see 5.5 on DraftKings. So being the nice person I am, I'll give you that extra point if the Lions win.
Dope.
I don't. Yeah, this is tough. I'm probably going to go with a safer pick, which I don't really like doing, but I'm looking at the Titans. They're a 4-point underdog against the Texans. CJ Stroud might be back for the Texans. So do I want to go Titans or do I want to go with the Saints, it's a divisional game at the Buccaneers, 2.5. Yeah, give me the Saints. They're a 2.5-point underdog. I am a huge Baker Mayfield fan. I'm not going to lie. My man has gotten me into 2 fantasy football championships this year. Very unexpected. So I have a special place in my heart for Baker. But maybe this is the week that he just, there's like a slight upset, and I don't know. Give me the Saints plus 2.5 against the Buccaneers.
Baker's looking hot. He's even making my boy Colin Cowherd into a believer. Colin has been riding the Baker train very hard this last week. I mean, even comparing him to Tom Brady. Hey, dude, what you guys know I'm a Baker. Well, you don't, Rossi, but you know I'm a Baker Mayfield fan. It's the only jersey from another team outside the Eagles that I own, fake from China, of course, is Baker Mayfield, though. So, Rossi, what are your thoughts on Baker?
I mean, if we know anything about Baker Mayfield, is that he doesn't perform well when people expect him to. And
boom.
I like that.
I think Baker, when people are expecting of him and hyping him up, that's when he does his worst. So I think the Bucs could for sure lose. All this Baker talk, he's so good. I mean, his whole career, everybody's been hyping him up, and that's why he fell. That's why he fell so hard. And it's when people started counting him out that he started doing well. So I think they're going to lose this week.
I don't know. I haven't seen any Hulu commercials with him recently either. So maybe he's
it's
doing
a shame.
Better.
He's really good on commercials. He's very, he's got he's a good actor.
All right, Drew, and let's give Ali the Washington pick over San Francisco. It's big, it's bold. It most likely won't happen, but let's just give him that. You cool with that?
I was thinking that until Rossi for a moment was going to take the Commanders, and that threw everything off. But now that you're going with the you're going with the Steelers, right? We got Steelers over Seahawks. So yeah, we got to give Ali the Commanders. 12.5-point underdog at home against the 49ers. Boy, would that be an upset. But if there's one person who's going to pick a team to be a 12.5-point underdog and beat the 49ers, it's going to be Ali. So,
all right, Rossi. So we have a small tradition here. Our guests just close out the show. It's episode 79. You can just say goodnight and we can hang up, but feel free to close out episode 79 of the Wingin It podcast.
All right, y'all. Thanks for catching us. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching episode 79. Rossi out.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.